Welcome to this VBA course. In this unit, I'm going to talk about the differences between subroutines on the one hand and functions on the other. So here we already see an example for a subroutine or a sub. And well, subroutines, they're basically just performing some tasks. So I'm not expecting some kind of return from the subroutine. That's where they differ from functions. From functions, I'm always expecting some kind of return. So for example, a typical subroutine would be something like format the worksheet as follows. Select the following values. Change the worksheet in this way. Display this and this message. So it's always do this and this stuff. With a function, I have something like we know from math, like f of x being equal to x to the power of 2. So I'm expecting the user to give me some kind of input. And then I'm doing something with the input and I'm returning something. So for example, the user supplies me with a 2. I have the function f of x being x squared. So I'm getting the input f of 2. Then I'm squaring the 2. I get 4. And I return the 4. So my function actually will return the value 4. So while the subroutine looks like this, I can call a function, if I call this here test2, like this. And I can work like this, but this will be a problem because, well, function returns a value. So I should also define which type of value or which data type this function has. So I can go here as double, for example. What double means, that's going to be part of the next session, next unit. Here, just accept this as is. And well, it's just what the output will look like. Then I have to tell him as well what the input should look like. And the input, I'm always putting here in the brackets. I could do the same thing with the subroutine. But then he will just do something with it. This could be, for example, handlers. Information giving what he should do, what he shouldn't do. You can also use this to calculate something, but then it won't be output in the same way as with a function. Well, here I want to have some input. I can't use the name input because this already is some kind of command. So I'm just using imp. And then I also have to tell him which data format the imp has. So I'm using double here as well. Double, that's basically floating point numbers. Something like 0.8, 0.9, 1.823, something like this. It's not whole numbers like integers. And well, as I said, what I want him to do is basically return the square of this. So I can go here. Test2. So test2, that's actually the name of my function. And I'm setting this test2 to imp times imp. So the square of this. So what he does here is he gets this input, he squares this and returns this. Okay, how to test this? Well, we can simply call this function from the sub and insert a value of 3 here. Well, this would go start this test, go here, insert 3, go 3 times 3, return 9. Okay, how do we know that this works? Well, we can actually use something from a later session and use a message box for this. Okay, I have to tell him something about the message box. So I can add an additional variable, let's call this output here, which is also on double. Then the output takes the value of the function. And here I return the output. So what he does here, get new variable gets the result from this test. Let's take a look how this works. So here I get my message 9. So here he takes the 3, squares this, returns this, sets output equal to the returned value, and then tells me the output. Well, that's all there is with regards to subroutines and functions. So the difference between them, mostly here, he's just doing those 3 steps. Here, he returns some kind of value. So I have to also define what is the data type of the return. I could also leave this blank, would work perfectly fine as well, but this makes it look a bit more professional. Okay, so as I said, that's all there is to this unit. And if you're looking for additional input, additional units, feel free to visit the rest of the course or have a look at the corresponding playlist. I say goodbye and see you next time.